surrounding me, leaving me with nothing left to say. Imagine it, grasping it, it feels so far away. Do I throw it all away if it means that I can cross the line?
Yeah, I think the best way for me to even try to talk about this episode is to start with the obvious. This is the introduction of Full Cal Deku. This is when he learns how to channel One for All throughout his entire body and stop destroying himself. So, yeah, not to mention this pop's pretty cool, so I wanted to show it off on camera. I've had him for a little while now. I got him through eBay. He was originally an Entertainment Earth exclusive, and his orange parts and his sparks all glow in the dark. It's a pretty cool pop. So, yeah. Did I get this out for today just to flex? Because this is the episode where this ability is introduced? Yes, I am. Do I regret it? No. I'm a collector. This is what I do. And I would do the same when we get the Shadow Arms for Takayami, because I do have that pop as well. So, let's just set Deku right there, next to his box. And let's talk about this episode. It's pretty freaking awesome, and there's a lot to talk about, so this is going to be a longer review than the last one. So, let's not waste any more time and dive right into it. What's up, what's happening, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to Anime Station, which is here for anything and everything animation, including TV and movies, and pro heroes fighting for the fate of the world, as well as, you know what? I'm your host, Jackson Small. Welcome back to Academia April 2. Welcome to Season 2, Episode 14, aka Episode 27. Bizarre. Gran Torino appears. This is the episode where we begin the internships of everyone at Class 1A. Now, obviously, the main focus, of course, because he is the main character, is Deku and his internship with Gran Torino, but we get a bit of everyone's internships here, in varying degrees, which is pretty cool. And some of them are even used for laughs, like Minetta's. So, yeah, without further ado, there's a lot to talk about with this episode, so let's not waste any time and just get straight into it. This one I might have to just read the summary for, because there's just so much. There's so much that happens in this episode. So, first we have Izuku meeting Gran Torino at his house, and he's instantly thrown off by the old man's bizarre demeanor. Not only does he pretend to be dead after falling on a plate of sausages and ketchup, and the sausages were made to look like his intestines, which was pretty funny. Nice little dark humor. But he also constantly asks Izuku for his name, and then forgets it immediately. You know, the old man joke. Concerned Gran Torino isn't in the correct mental state to train him, Izuku tries to make a call to All Might, but then notices that Gran Torino is going through his new costume, which does have a few changes because of what happened last time. Suddenly, the old man's attitude completely changes to a more serious tone when he asks Izuku to try and hit him with a one-for-all smash. Then he goes right back to his clueless state, prompting Izuku to try and excuse himself. Gran Torino does not allow Izuku to leave and uses his quirk to jump around the room at high speed before challenging Izuku once again to try to use a smash on him. Yeah, Gran Torino is just a nice, hilarious ball of oddity. He comments that Izuku used his quirk far too recklessly during the sports festival, and All Might has not been teaching him very well. Izuku realizes Torino was acting and makes the connection between Gran Torino's bizarre personality and All Might's, realizing that he really is truly All Might's teacher. More specifically, his homeroom teacher from back when All Might went to UA. As a student, Gran Torino continues to use his quirk to move quickly around the room, often striking Izuku from behind. Izuku eventually reads his movements and attempts to punch him, but then Torino avoids it and pins Izuku to the ground by his face. Torino then tells Izuku that his admiration of All Might is holding him back and that his movements are far too stiff, even though he understands the quirk's fundamentals. He then leaves Izuku behind to buy food, as the young man ponders his advice and is told to also clean up the mess made by him jumping around. Meanwhile, in Hostess City, Ida has chosen to intern at normal hero Manuel's office. As they patrol the streets together, Tenya mulls about thoughts of the hero killer and attempting to find him in Hosu. In other words, he's on a mission for revenge, the opposite of what a hero is actually supposed to do. Yeah, this is when we get some of Ida's character development. Elsewhere, we have Stain meeting with Tomura Shigaraki and Kurogiri to discuss joining their ranks. When he questions Shigaraki's convictions, he's disappointed to find out he's simply trying to destroy anyone and anything he doesn't like. Kurogiri wishes to step in, but his master orders him to stand aside so that Shigaraki may learn from experience. And that's pretty much all we get for them from this episode. So, we get some of a follow-up to the last meeting, but that's really about it. But we get something, so it's better than ignoring it for another episode. Meanwhile, back at Gran Torino's apartment, Izuku thinks over his new mentor's words until he comes to the realization that he needs to treat One For All as an extension of himself, rather than just trying to summon it and use special moves. Eavesdropping from outside the door, Torino muses about Izuku's potential. Meanwhile, in the center of Tokyo, Bakugo arrives at Best Jeanist Hero Agency, and this is where the funniest part of the episode comes into play. Best Jeanist admits he isn't very fond of Bakugo because of his attitude, despite being talented enough to take on as a sidekick. Bakugo is irritated by the number 4 hero's lecture and tries to approach him, forcing the pro to restrain him. This happens to Bakugo a lot, if you haven't noticed. Best Jeanist continues saying that he would transform Bakugo into an exemplary hero by the end of their time together. Guess what doesn't happen? Meanwhile, at Fourth Kind's hero agency, we have Kirishima and Tetsu discovering that they both chose to study under Fourth Kind, the same hero. Ochiko learns from Gunhead, and Momo joins Itsuka Kendo in interning with Snake Hero Uwabami. I apologize for my bad pronunciations. Then we have Jiro training with Death Arms, we have Mineta being put to work by Mount Lady, and roleplay that he did not picture by cleaning up her own apartment, and Asui working with the Navy, which we'll get more of in another episode. Shoto Todoroki chooses to intern with his father's agency, and Endeavor tells him that they're going out to the city to work, which we later find out is their way of saying that they're going to be going to Tokyo to try to hunt down the hero killer and take all the credit. Yeah, that's Endeavor for you. He's kind of salty. That night, Gran Torino falls asleep after getting food. Izuku ventures out to the alleyway to train himself to use One For All more fluently, but he fails to scale the alley several times until morning comes, and Torino finds him exhausted. Torino then tells his protege that All Might could use One For All from the start and only required basic combat training, so Midoriya is being taught in a very different manner. He's also surprised to learn All Might hasn't told Deku anything about the 7th holder of One For All, who was the master of All Might. They receive a new microwave in the mail after breaking the last one in previous days' training. Torino instructs Midoriya to heat up the food he bought, but Midoriya messes it up by not allowing the food to rotate in the microwave while it cooks. After getting berated by Gran Torino for fouling up the pastries, Midoriya makes a connection between the food and himself, calling back to the egg in the microwave moniker he came up with while he was training on the beach with All Might, way back in Season 1. He realizes that, like the pastries, he needs to let the energy flow equally through all parts of himself. Then Torino watches closely as Midoriya spreads One For All's power throughout his entire body continuously, impressed with how quickly he caught on to this symbolic lesson. He then challenges Midoriya to a rematch using his newly mastered ability, Full Cowl. Yes, I'm bringing this back out again because it's just so freaking cool. And it's literally the only pop I have at Deku right now. I will have more eventually, like Dark Deku, Infinite Deku. But this is the Deku pop I have for now. So. Okay, that's the episode. Like I said, there was a lot to cover there. We got a peek at everyone's internships. We got Midoriya learning how to use One For All throughout his entire body and unlock his Full Cowl ability. And some laughs with Bakugo being restrained again. Because he just cannot control himself. Alright, final thoughts. Let's go. An awesome episode, with one of the best character introductions in the series, Gran Torino, a brief glimpse at every Class 1A student's internships, finally getting follow-up on the meeting between Stain and Shigaraki, and the introduction of Deku's full Cal, which increases his mobility and power while also making his quirk much less self-destructive. This is when he stops using his quirk to literally break his body. It quickly and effectively sets things up for the arc, while simultaneously delivering character development and a couple of laughs. Definitely check this one out, it is definitely an essential episode. Final verdict for this episode, easy high, 9 out of 10. Check it out if you have not seen it yet, it is definitely one of the best of the season. Well, that's it. That's all we got for this episode review. Thank you guys so much for watching. Please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more videos like this almost every single day. And stay tuned because we still have a long way to go with Season 2. So, I'll see you guys next time for Season 2, Episode 15, aka Episode 28, Midoriya and Shigaraki.